Common medal.
The Norm Smith medal.
Brownlow medal
Is Jimmy Bartel.
Matthew Lloyd.
The Cats will be unfurling their flag on Saturday afternoon against a side, Jim, that matches up pretty well. The Sydney Swans down at Geelong. So let's take a look at the record. They've got the best record of any side down in Geelong. So it's fantastic. So in the last 4 they've played, these two clubs, the Swans have won by 38 points, 46 points, 17 points. Lost the last one, Jim. You know it well. Why do they do it so well down there, the Swans?
They play a really good brand of football. Call it slingshot footy, or use the soccer term. They park the bus, get back to half-back, and we'll see here these numbers. They bring up a couple of forwards. We've got Heaney, this is Hayward down the bottom, and this is Papley winning the contest. They bring up 3 forwards, pack up the stoppage. They're the #1 pressure side in the competition. As it plays out, you'll see all this space here as Ollie Florent runs through. You keep running and carrying, you lengthen the field, and you can do that really well at Cardinia Park, which is a very long ground, and it can open up that space in between. As we watch Heaney, fantastic effort. Another forward, really high up, wins the contest. Logan McDonald, we see the player here. It catches the spare. This could be Radaglia on the weekend. But this will be Stewart and Papley. This is where you want to keep Tom Stewart, one of the best defenders in the game. You want him to be as deep as possible and create situations like this. This man heading to goal is the fastest man in the world. You cannot stop him, and he goes off celebrating his goals.
So let's look out for that on Saturday afternoon. Let's look out for this guy. We often debate who is the best player in the game, and I don't think too many should debate that it's currently Jeremy Cameron. Look at this for a forward. He's got 25 disposals and 6 goals in round 2. Round 4, 20 disposals, 7 goals. Last week, 18 disposals and 4 goals, Jim. What a tough matchup he is.
Yeah, and you mentioned #1 in goals, but #2 in score involvement, so he can set up his teammates really well. The thing is, who's going to match up on him? Rampy possibly out again. Both McCartans, average height last week of 185 centimetres in the back line. It'd be like me trying to match up
Well,
with him.
Robbie Fox did a good job on grand final day, keeping him to 2 goals, so he'll probably get the job again. And you identified a player in Brad Close, Jim, who's so important for Geelong.
Yeah, first couple of weeks when the Cats are a bit spluttering, these two players are close along with Myers. Watch this, he starts at the back of the stoppage, takes care of his job, does the defensive role for the team. So he's covering off, making it very difficult for West Coast with Jones, who likes to sweep out. But you watch him with the circle, the work rate is enormous. And this is where Geelong become really dangerous with their small forwards. They get up the ground, they protect the Cats at the back of the stoppage. But this is where, as they say, you get the lick of the ice cream. He's all the way down here at halfback. This is why you do your sprints on a Saturday morning, your 150s. He's all the way down here as the play unfolds through the middle of the ground. A bit later, we had to speed it up because he's done that much running. Guess who pops up in the goal square? Myers is involved coming through here. Absolutely catches West Coast out with work rate. Here's the man here, kicking one of his 4 goals, and that's where the Cats are getting back into form.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think Myers and Close were in great form in the first 2 rounds. They're back. Do you tip the Cats in this one?
I do, down at home, but a tight affair down there.
Yeah, I think Geelong will win as well. Carlton and St Kilda, this should be a fantastic game. I want to just look at the points for and against. You see Ross, he's got his brand already back, the #1 defensive side in the game. But look at Carlton. They're 8th in attack and also only 13 points for, so that's a real worry for them.
Yeah, we highlighted St Kilda last week. They get up in your face and that pressure, which forces those long high kicks in, which, you know, Wilkie's one of the best intercept defenders. So if they keep coming forward, it allows their defenders to just read the play and pick off the opposition, which will make it difficult, as you got some highlights here with Carlton's
This
forward.
was last week, and this was a real concern of what Michael has to change this week. It's too predictable. So this is the ball going into Curnow and Mackay, 5 Crows going up against 3, so that's one of them. And you want the team to adjust, and you need Silvani to be used as we keep rolling. All the smalls, the Motlops and the Durdens. This goes in. They just know, look at that. And then they just rebound hard. So I think Michael Voss has to come up with some answers, because Ross, with Battle and Wilkie and these types, will go to school on that.
For me, Carlton, look, they've only had 1 loss, but there's small adjustments that need to be made. And for me, Lloydie, it's around the midfield. It's Adelaide exposed them with quick feet, as coaches say. They're explosive. And this is what happened early in the game. So Adelaide are taking back shoulder here with Laird in through the middle. Look at, they're all owning the space. They get Carlton committed to the footy, and on the outside, Dawson even has time to slip over and find the target. So they actually need a bit of balance and throw the mix in where you've got someone a little bit quicker. Sam Walsh should be better for the run, but you throw Motlop through that mix as well, and you want to highlight Sam Walsh here.
This is something they're doing. They're going so hard and aggressive, Carlton. So watch the way they get owned on the outside. So Walsh needs the perfect tap here. But what he doesn't, it's out the back, and they're in serious trouble, and their positioning is just all out. And again, Adelaide, this guy's been a revelation. Michael Laney off half back, just lace out. So then we watch one more. This is the captain, Cripps. That's just too aggressive. And look at 3 Carlton players. So what used to be a strength of Carlton with their bulls on the inside has become a weakness with how they're being beaten on the outside.
They were a top 4 side early in the year last year, scores from stoppages. They're now ranked 17th in the early part of this year. It's because too many players are committed to within 1 metre of the contest.
And every player has to evolve. I reckon Tom Mitchell has evolved at Collingwood, and Brad Crouch is a player for St Kilda who I think is playing the best footy I've ever seen. And we just see players at Carlton who are struggling and being one-pace sort of players. Look at Brad Crouch. He started in the centre bounce. He had 30, 10 inside 50s, 9 clearances, and he started to kick a few goals, which is what I think a few more Blues inside players have to do.
Who are you tipping here?
I'm tipping the Saints.
I think the Blues. I'm giving them one more chance.
OK, you went Melbourne and Richmond on Monday night. It's always a fantastic game, and a lot of questions about Richmond. This is one area they were always so strong. How certain they were, Jim, in their defence. But there's just so many players looking at each other confused.
Yeah, this was Noah Bolter. Now, obviously, Nankervis is on the mark. English was the big fella. We look at Bolter here. Just goes the wrong side. The old Richmond be arm across, pushing, physical, moving players away, which allows the likes of Loston to come over and intercept. And just their ball use and decision making. We haven't seen Richmond this shaky behind the ball. They just coughed up some easy goals, which is really unusual. We look at the ball use and the decision making. They just shot themselves in the foot over there at Gatherround.
Yeah, Maxi Gawn could be back for this one as well. I like Melbourne.
Yeah, I like Melbourne as well.
Yeah. And the last one, Anzac Day, we can't wait for this. I don't think the teams have gone in as good a form as this ever in the history of this game. 4 wins and 1 loss. And you wanted to highlight how the Pies need to play with their outs.
Speed, tempo on the game. You look at all this. If you're a bit smaller, you want to have open inside forward 50s, which we've highlighted with a couple of other teams. You want Bobby Hill, you want Johnson one-on-ones. You don't want players coming back on top of them. Essendon been defending really well as a unit. But look at this. They spread the ground really quick. All the players through the middle of the ground. Even Big Bill here working his backside off. That creates, Rowan Marshall, the St Kilda ruckman on this day, to come up. He can't get back and help out, where you're a bit shorter across the board.
And this is where Essendon can try and expose. We just heard Nathan Kruger will be the ruckman if Mason Cox doesn't come up. And you look at that, they had 39 hit-outs, 6 contested marks and 5 goals between them. That is an area where they did a number on Brodie Grundy, and that could be the difference in the game from an Essendon point of view.
Do you think it's enough for them to get the win?
Well, once they lost Zach Merritt, I know if the Pies have lost a lot too. I just tipped the Pies.
Come on, stand up.
I'm saying Collingwood, Ed.
Yeah.
I'm saying Collingwood.
Yeah, I reckon you're hiding there. The Bombers can't win this one. They never will.
Yeah, you're too good, your mob at the moment.
Cox won't play. Mason Cox just definitely won't play.